What it do, dirtbags? My name is Crucimix, and I'm once again back. I'm actually recording this immediately after the last video, but you won't see it for a couple weeks. I know I got trapped there last time, but I am returning to Agartha. I know how that sounds, but Xi Jinping is calling me. And like I'm notorious for saying, hopefully it won't be that long this time. But I have something special to hold you over today. If you've been following the channel since the, Dark Ages, then you might recall that at a certain point I was releasing a video a day just finding a random person and deciding to hate them and then milking it for 10 minutes. And well, I might as well say it, I'm feeling a bit nostalgic. And I just so happen to have found out that Elsagate never died. It simply changed form into an even more delusional delineation of slop. So please join me as today we're talking about Zhong, or Zhong, I'm not sure. Regardless, this guy has 71 million subscribers and averages around 7 million views a video, which is pretty crazy for a character I've literally never heard of. But surely he's doing something right. Let's check out one of his newer videos. Thumbnail looks pretty good on this one. My baby became a demon should be peak.
My baby is turning into a demon, and it happened earlier this morning.
I will say, while this is unequivocally 1000% the same thing as Elsagate, the production quality really has ramped up in the preceding years. Mr. Beastification is so widespread that it's even hit the Elsagate slop tubers. Back in the day, all you needed to do was dress up like Spider-Man and put some chocolate pudding onto a toilet seat and eat it off. That was kind of the entire thing. Why won't anybody think of the small-time Elsagate slop tuber? How's a man supposed to match a production like this?
Guys, evil brides just turned my baby into a demon!
Everybody, go hide. I'll go find the antidote and save the baby.
I love the bizarre inclusion of these, like, poor older men. What happens in your life that you end up in this situation in this kind of video? There's like an intense misery behind the eyes of both of these men, and I don't blame them. I mean, their legacy will forever be being the strong men inside of a live-action version of AI slop.
Go! Guys, I have to hide somewhere and buy the police officer time so he can find my baby. I know! The locker! Alright guys, I am now camouflaged at my hiding spot.
How is it that every single one of these types of videos has some kind of hiding spot included? Also, what kind of Pee-wee's Playhouse nightmare dimension is this? This type of content is so incredibly befuddling to me. I don't know what children I've gone through to create a system that makes this what's enjoyable to them, but I remember as a kid I would watch like actually decent things. I would watch, you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'd watch something interesting with a little bit of a story. This is insanity. My generation had Samurai Jack. This generation has Zhong. I'm starting to believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure this is probably wrong, but I'm starting to believe, maybe even think, maybe even, dare I say, espouse the fact that iPads and fluoridated water aren't exactly the right thing to be giving children. Pretty soon, though, we'll be able to ask, you know, Gen Alpha, they're almost up there in age. This is more like Gen Beta content, but Gen Alpha, they grew up with the actual original Elsagate, so we'll be able to ask them what the appeal of this was, if they defend it, if they actually look back with fond memories of this kind of thing. Yeah, if you weren't thinking about that before, you are now. Gen Alpha, their oldest variations, their oldest delineations are 16 now. That's kind of terrifying. Children who were like 8 whenever the Do You Know the Way memes were out are almost old enough to drink. I just pray they don't cannibalize Gen Z like we did with the millennials. But if this is the kind of content Gen Alpha and Beta were raised on, I don't think we have too much to worry about.
This is where I'm hiding, and it leads to a secret room. I just made it to Zhong's secret room. I think I'm gonna be okay here. I just gotta be quiet.
See, this is what I mean. That's the voice of a weathered man who has seen and heard a lot of things. He does not need to be treated with such disrespect as to be put in a video such as this. And it's probably the camera causing this, but his eyes truly have this look of borderline teardrops. It's miserable. Alright, I'm getting bored, I'm brain rotted, I have a low attention span. I need to skip further into this video. Does anybody have Subway Surfers gameplay?
Whoa, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, alright, this is actually gas. I take back everything I said. The cinematography is amazing. This is like a Bollywood movie or something for kids. This is just awesome. This is incredible. I don't know why everyone isn't watching this. Also, I would be absolutely remiss to omit the fact that he has his underwear just poking out and the scene, like, draws attention to it. Very bizarre cinematography here. Yeah, definitely the scene pointing it out, not me being slightly fruity. Also, I know I skipped ahead, but the premise of this video is kind of losing me. I mean, I'm trying to keep track of the story, but a lot of it's not making sense. I don't know if I needed to see, like, previous episodes, but the gist of it, from what I understand, is that this guy came in, stole the guy's kid, turned it into a demon. He's a demon himself, apparently, and is now going into their house just to mess with them. Also, why is the bounty hunter hiding? Is there power scaling to this? Am I supposed to be so afraid of the demon guy because he's just that powerful? I feel like I just started watching Dragon Ball, but I started like halfway through the Android arc. Like, I might have destroyed the pacing for myself. I know they say don't skip parts in anime, but I really didn't think that would be the case with a Zhong video. I mean, how deep could this lore possibly go?
They thought I wouldn't see that. YouTubers are always hiding in toilets these days.
What do you mean YouTubers are always hiding in toilets these days? Also, how does it always come back to toilets with this genre of YouTube? I mean, as I joked about earlier, Elsagate was exclusively about people eating chocolate dog turds off of toilet seats, and then you had Skibbity Toilet, and now this seems like a weird fascination, a weird thing that's constantly in the zeitgeist of young people. This entire video might just be me boomer posting. Maybe at 23 I just simply wouldn't get it.
What the? Oh, I've never taken balls to the face before! Oh!
What? I don't like the sound of that.
Alright, so I'm coming to a weird problem here that I did not expect to face, which is the more I watch this, the more I'm starting to think it might actually be some kind of comedic genius. Like, everything surrounding this is incredibly cringe, but also the execution is done so flawlessly that it's kind of endearing me. I'm kind of starting to love this. I'm not gonna lie to you, this might turn into like a propaganda post, maybe one of my first ever videos that's actually happy-go-lucky about something. Is this a heel turn? Am I coming to a new revelation? Am I not going to bully this guy?
Now we wait.
Oh no, he just threw a smoke bomb in here.
Alright, never mind, I'm turning the other leaf back around, it's back to cringe. I'm just now realizing that this demon character is basically the Joker, and this entire thing's centered around K-pop demon hunters, so it really truly is the spiritual successor to Elsagate. I mean, you've got this guy with white skin paint, and his jacket is green and his hair is purple. It's basically just the inversion of the Joker. It's bizarre that we've come full circle back to it. I don't even know if it was intentional, but if not, then it's somewhere in their DNA to make videos like this. It's so strange that even years later we still have this kind of content popping up constantly. I assume it's just the simple fact that children's content makes a lot of money, but how you wake up in the morning and think to yourself, I'm gonna get me and my friends to dress up in costumes and record the weirdest thing you could possibly imagine today. I mean, some things feel like they were written by AI, but this feels like it was written by a group of chimps with a typewriter and a whole sack full of the most illicit drugs you could possibly imagine. Like, it's all true schizophrenic bottom feeding. Just taking whatever IP is popular with kids right now and then using it as a jumping off point for like the most insane, specifically eye-catching visuals that you could possibly think of. It's also corporate and formulaic too somehow. Like, before, Elsagate didn't really have the money to afford these kind of things, like nicer editing or anything resembling a set really. It was usually just somebody's house. So to make up for that, they would go for the most shocking visuals possible, not only to spread word through word of mouth, but also because kids like weird shock value stuff. But now that there's money involved, you get to use your production value alone as like a hype factor. And if the parents sit down to make sure their kid's watching something that isn't absolutely insane and made in someone's basement, they'll see that, oh hey, this actually has sets, it must be good for my kid. And it's based off of K-pop demon hunters, my kid loves that show. The boomer mentality of doing anything possible to get your kids away from you and out of your sight so you don't have to deal with them has led to consequences unfathomable to previous generations. I mean, in the boomers' time, it was just like locking your kid outside and being like, go play outside, while you sit there and like chain smoke and drink as much as possible. A little bit more respectable because of how much trouble could they really get in just playing outside. But then parents got really concerned for their children's safety. You know, there's accidents that could happen. There's predators outside. You could always slip and slide on a banana peel and faceplant into a tree. There's risks about being outside for your kid whenever they're not watched. So what you do is sit them down in front of the TV, have them play some video games, have them stay in their bedroom. Doesn't matter, just as long as they're out of your hair, because that boomer mentality never left. And whenever you have that mentality and introduce the internet, it's a bit of a problem. Like, a Zhong video is the best case scenario for your child. Unfathomable brain rot and a 1,000-yard SSRI stare is the good scenario, the good outcome for your kid. So maybe people like Zhong are providing a public service, actually. Maybe they're actually really helping the community by keeping kids on YouTube and off Discord. Or maybe people like Zhong are actually just benefiting off of the lowest hanging fruit possible with an incredibly large budget for some reason. We've got zombie kids that have been misdiagnosed with ADHD sitting on Ritalin all day watching Zhong videos, just absolutely tanking any sense of brain they had. Locked them in their homes for 2 years, forcing them to do literally nothing but watch this kind of thing. If I think about this for too long, I might actually start going full Ted Kaczynski. So I think I should probably just wrap it up for the day. If you're one of the Gen Alpha that grew up with this kind of thing, you know, the original Elsagate, if you're one of those guys, please leave me a comment, let me know what that was like, if you guys actually really love Elsagate, if that was something you truly care about in the deepest parts of your soul, you're very nostalgic for it, you gotta let me know. And if you're Gen Z like I am, maybe let me know if you think we have an equivalent to this type of brain rot. Because to be honest with you, I think Fred and the Annoying Orange were pretty similar to this in their own way. Hell, I hate to say this because this is pretty controversial, but I think Smosh even had elements of this. It was better, it was at least funnier, it had some truly good bits back in the day, but there was still the element of costumed character from an IP you like. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, I would very much appreciate a little subscription, maybe a like, maybe a comment, maybe a little bit of a notification bell hitting, maybe even check out my Twitter if you're just that much of a fan. My name is, has been, and will continue to be Crucimix for the foreseeable future. I love you. Goodbye.